Test, test, 1, 2, I'm live. Hey folks, how's it going? It's Friday, we made it through a whole week. Hope you've all had a good week and are enjoying your Friday. It's game dev time. So let's carry on with some game dev. Sorry I didn't do anything last week, it was a bit of a busy one. Didn't quite get round to it. But I'm looking forward to actually solving some issues today. Hey Jeffrey, greetings human, greetings. Am I a bit blurry? It's hard to tell with this camera. Kind of have to encourage the focus. I might have to manually set the focus. You can set the focus manually on these cameras, but the Logitech cameras like to autofocus and they're very good for that. But if they think my microphone is what it needs to be focused on, I become blurred. But I'm looking a bit sharper now. Maybe I need to put the light up, I don't know. I need to sort my lighting out because I've got a light on the ceiling and I've got a lamp here to kind of give me my two-angled effect. But as long as you can see me okay, that's the main thing. But it's good to see you and I'm glad you can see me. We're going to try some things to get this ball angled correctly. Not sure if anyone recalls last time on the last stream we were trying to get the ball to rotate. Now I've been watching a few videos, reading a few articles, see if we can put this into practice. One of them I did link my Discord, and I see you hearted that link, Jeffrey. There's forums. The forums are a great place to read people's problems and solutions. So I'm a big fan of forums, especially for things at work. It's like, I have this problem, someone else has this problem, what were their solutions? This is how they fixed it. And usually someone has a very similar problem to what you have. And even if it's not exactly the same problem, it's close enough you can kind of work your way back from there. We'll switch over to Unity and see what we can do today. Now we could do some audio, couldn't we? Let's get an old DJ set playing, so my headphones don't switch off. The thing with wireless headphones, if they don't detect sound for a while, it goes, you're not using them. Let's turn that off. Let's save some power. Let's go for a sonar from March last year. Saw the last 3 videos I posted in your... Make sure that's not too loud. Yes, I haven't watched them, but I saw those. I'm going to give those a watch in a little bit. Thank you for dropping those in. I love animal videos, especially if, for animals I know. Cool. Yeah, I saw that the previews of them. And Uno looks very cute as it is. So yeah, looking forward to that. Let's give this a quick play. It's the dogs. Okay, it is. The ball is rotating. That is good. Uno playing with a toy like the vid from yesterday. Nice. Okay, the ball is rotating. That's a good thing, but it's not doing exactly what we want. We're getting there though. Smaller but older female attacking me directly. She prefers that over toys. Now, if she gets her fun out of interacting with you, that's all good. And we find Nix's dog, Lottie, much prefers human interaction and playing by herself. Or playing with toys. Like, she'll have she's got this really thick rope toy that she'll rip and tear to pieces. But she much prefers to kind of have a bit of rough and tumble and kind of have a bit of a play fight. But she is a staffy Staffordshire Bull Terrier, those kind of things really like to play rough, but very loving. Yeah, Donya likes to bite your arm. That's all cool. I think we might need to multiply. Might need to multiply something. It's not quite doing what we were expecting. Let's go back to the code. Maybe I need to comment that out because that's probably readjusting the values. Let's save that. See what we get here now. Because I want the ball to face in the same direction as the camera. Well, it's not going backwards. However, it is now spinning. I need to lock its rotation, really, don't I? Ooh, that's a bit of a... that's a rough mix. Why have we got two colliders? Sphere collider, sphere collider. Yeah, I was not sure why I got two colliders going on there. It's cheaper. Rottweilers have the habit of destroying. Ever since those indestructible toys at the pet shops. Yeah, I've seen those. Those were tested on golden retrievers or something. That's 3 minutes, yeah. We've tried to give Lottie an indestructible toy. And she's purposely rips into it as hard as she can. If it's like any form of rubber, she'll start ripping the rubber off it. I can't give it anything that's malleable. Yeah, do not last long with Staffords. Now, I bought a Kickstarter toy, which is supposed to... It was advertised as like indestructible kind of thing. It's not indestructible. But it was quite cool. It looked like a dinosaur egg. It's about this big. And it's like a gamified toy. So you set a difficulty level on it. And it has a health bar, like an internal health bar. And the dog has to bat it around as hard as it can. And the lowest setting, the health bar has 3 hits, so bang, bang, bang. And when the health bar is 0, it motor releases this little door and a treat falls out. And then closes up again and the health bar resets. So the idea being, the dog has to really batter this thing around and then door opens, treat comes out. She didn't play with that, right? She literally tried to rip into it to get the treat out. She kind of tried to cheat it, so in now we can't let you have this. There's electronics inside that you're supposed to play with, not literally rip the dinosaur egg into two. Which is a shame. It's a cool concept, cool. Definitely not for Staffords. But we might try it with a less destructive dog. But you can set the setting higher so the health bar is longer, like 5 hits, 7 hits. So you can make the dog work harder to get the treat out of it. But I thought that was quite cool to have like a health bar and a dog toy. But She'd rather quite literally kill the egg rather than deplete its health. Hopefully the music's coming through okay. If I turn it down in my head, I might turn it up in the stream a little bit. About there. There we go. Music's a bit louder. No, it's still spinning, right. Planning on doing some model painting, but postponed too long. Now it's almost 10:30, so I go do some Final Fantasy 16. Nice. Sounds good. Yeah, I hate that. So I do exactly the same. I go, ooh, I'd love to do this thing, but I'll do it in a bit. And then it gets later and later, and go, there's no point starting it now. There's not going to be enough time. And you always get gutted because I'm really in the mood for it now, but it's just too late. And you're never quite in the mood to do something earlier. But I always get my my motivations later in the evening. I'm one of these people that I tend to work better as the evening goes on. Like I can function better. I'm not really made for sort of early hours. My brain doesn't fully kick in. It's a shame because unfortunately the world works with people functioning early in the mornings. Whereas it's where coffee comes in for me, unfortunately. Coffee and energy drinks. So anywhere I can function in a normal adult scenario. I'm looking for... Is the rigid... Not the rigid body. Is it the rigid body? I think it's the rigid body. Aha, yes. So, it's the Y? It's the Y, yes. We want to freeze the Y. So we only want to move the Y by code, not by physics. So the Y is now moving because I'm moving the screen, but if I bowl it, the Y is still moving. Boom! Oh yeah, I forgot to have the boom in there. I got a lot of hidden things like that. I set them up ages ago. Discovered a new one. I need to make more of them for you to find. But yeah, I set that up like at the same time as the panda one. So the panda one and the boom I set up at the same time. But by the way, boom pronounce it's tree. So bone. Bame? First one, boom. Yes, okay. Bone. Tree. Oh, I really was not on form on this mix. Oh, so if I ever need to talk about a tree when I'm in the Netherlands, I'll remember it's a bone. So I don't mind it rolling away, but I don't... So why is it still spinning now? English boom is the same as ours, but we write it as boom. Beam? Oh. So if it's boom for tree, it's beam? Basically Dutch is oo. Okay. So OE is oo, so boom. Okay. Pronounced the same as your boom. Cool. So the oo sound is OE in Dutch, but double O in English. So yeah, we're on to double vowels now. I mostly remember the single vowels in Dutch now. The word for cookie is actually the same in Dutch, but we write it as cookie. Okay. But pronounced the same. Okay, so the K... Because I suppose that the C is not quite as hard. Like in English, a C could be hard or a soft. So in the sense of cookie, the C is the same as the K. But there's other English words where the C isn't. There's more like an S. Barely use the C sounding as a K, but it happens though. Okay. Yeah, I think English is one of those weird ones where the C can sound different depending on context. Whereas I know a lot of languages they'll use the K because the K is consistent. It's like centre. Centre with a C sounds like an S. So the do the same. Cool. Two ways to pronounce the C: K and S. Very confusing as a child, trying to teach a child. Well, this letter C, sometimes there's a K, sometimes there's an S, and you'll just have to work out which one it is. Oh, I've got a warning. Due to the floating point position limitations, it is recommended to bring the world coordinates of the game object within a smaller range. Oh, I think... Oh, because the bowling ball has gone crazy. So, why is... Let's hit stop on this. Right. If I stop all... because when it resets... so we're freezing the X, but we want to freeze the Y as well, really, don't we? We want it to stop, everything to stop. So... Do we set it twice? Do we do this? Because when we hit go, all the constraints are turned to off. Freeze rotation. Freeze motion. Oh, freeze position, freeze rotation. But there's no combos. Okay, we just set it per axis, maybe. By the way, I always thought Unity was kind of plug and play. I see you doing more coding than I expected. There is what they refer to as visual scripting in Unity. So you can have boxes. So you have a box that does a thing, and you have another box that does a thing, and you plug that box into that box. So it's kind of like plugging wires into things, so that makes sense. So Unity does have visual scripting, where you have building blocks and you just plug them together. That might be what you're thinking. But you can also do the code as well. The building blocks, as you might expect, you can only do what you have blocks for, which is great if you don't want to do anything complicated. And I could probably do this in half the time if I used that. So let's say I want a Rayman Mario style part 2D character can run and jump. Yep, these. Could I just tell the things, this me character, she can jump, this part is solid, she jumps this high without coding? I think so. I think like Unity visual scripting. It'll be like you have a box for like input, and you'd have a box for movement, and you would plug the input into the movement, and you say, okay, movement is up or forward or side to left to right. Is it visual scripting? There we go. If I bring this over to that window here, and if I then capture this, I can show you what I'm looking at. Capture window capture. We're only do this temporary. Nope, not that one. This one. Minimize this. So probably just about see well, quite exact. Here's the example. You can see like you've got your character here jumping. What browser is that, by the way? It looks pretty. This is Opera GX. It's quoted as the gaming browser. Because it's kind of geared towards gamers. The cool thing with this though is I can, well, you can't see it on the capture, down the side here I can have like things like WhatsApp, and I can modify the browser, have plugins, cleaner, I can clean up stuff there. It's not showing on the stream, but this little dial one here, clicking that opens up a control panel, and I can tell it I only want this browser to use so much RAM, or so much RAM, or so much CPU. So it never take up too much of my computer. It always kind of, it'll hit the limit and then won't do any more. So I never have to worry about it running away with all my resources. It even tells me how much it's using. It's using just over 1 gig of RAM right now. It's using 5 to 11% of my CPU. But I can tell it use less, but some websites won't load, if that makes sense. There's all sorts of kind of cool stuff, but give it a go if you've got it installed. You might find Brave, it's very similar to Brave in the sense it's already got ad blockers built into it and all this, and it's all privacy features, but it's got a lot of these little tools you can tweak and stuff. So if you like to change things about your browser, and the default theme is red and black, but you can have any color you want. But yeah, I like it. It's it's not by default it can't use Chrome extensions, but you can plug in a mod into it which will run Chrome extensions if you want Chrome extensions back. So I've done that. So I've got a couple of my absolute essential Chrome extensions running through a mod on the browser. But yeah, looking at the visual scripting, you got like input system event button goes into trigger arguments. So pressing the action button assigned to fire will run the fire command, so make the character fire. Input system got all these different switches, so turn on booleans, so to combat mode, change the mode here down here. Enhanced control for artists and designers. Visual scripting is a great solution for both designers and artists who want to test ideas, make changes, or maintain more direct control of their work in Unity. Non-programmers can also make use of the custom nodes. That's what they call them, nodes. Each box is a node. Custom nodes and graphs created by more technical team members. So in that sense, you can have a technical team that make the boxes for you, and you go off and then add all the visual stuff to the boxes and all this. If you're working as a team. And yeah, if you're a programmer, you can make all the nodes, give it to your art team and stuff, your visual team. But if you're a single developer, there's not as much point making all these custom boxes to then use them, unless you're going to use them later on. And for multiple games, like make another platformer with the same controls. Cool, at some point I'll look into it. I want to make a small 2D platformer, 2D shooter, after I have some chapters. Cool. Definitely do it. There's loads of tutorials out there. If you look up a tutorial for Unity visual scripting platformer, there's bound to be something out there. T-Fresh time, okie dokie, see you shortly. But I'll certainly make a platformer at some point, I reckon. Let's get rid of that window capture off my OBS. Yes. Okay. Rotation. So that should stop it from spinning now. Let's try this again. Ooh, I was not on form at all for this mix. Okay, so with bowl, hits. Cool. Bowl. Reset. It's annoying you have to hit reset a number of times to stop that rotation happening. Now the ball, so we kind of want the reset details to be whatever the camera is. So we got the start, the ball will always be at this XYZ coordinate. But what I want it to do is to set the rotation to wherever the rotation of the camera is on the Y. Like the angle, I think it's the Y, not the Y, I'm guessing, where's the camera? It's the X, so the camera X is what makes it point down slightly. Okay, the camera's minus. Interesting. I wonder if... No. I'll probably make this way more complicated than it needs to be. Which is very likely. But we're learning things. So the camera's minus 180 anyway. But then the camera pivot... What am I using as the input? Camera pivot. Okay, yeah. So the camera pivot is at 18 degrees. The ball is coming at 180. So by moving the camera, it should be 180 plus 180 plus that. So why is it not 180 plus that? So maybe if I output to the console what the rotation actually is. Now we do want that to be 0 really, don't we? Because that's... So we might as well set that to 0. Yeah, I think that should be doing it. Let's have a quick look. To console.log. Console. Sure, it's console.log, isn't it? Oh, debug.log, of course. Console.log is non-Unity. Debug.log. I want it to log whatever rot y is. Let's make a note of... Is it ampersand? Or is it plus? There's plus on Unity, isn't it? Camera... camera Y, let's call it. Camera Y. So every time we move it, it should tell me in the... Let's go in object. Oh yeah. Okay, so maybe it is working, but what I'm pulling as the value is not correct. Okay, that's good. We know the value I'm pulling from the camera is not correct. It's not the rotation I want them. So, because rot, what have I got as rot? It's coordination. go dot y. Rather than a coordination, let's make it a float. Oh, we've got float y here anyway. Go y. And just put that as y rather than rot y. And make that just y plus 180. See, well, like, if that's pretty much the same, which I'm guessing it might be either angles dot y I need to pull. Okay. Because the calculation is working, but we're using the wrong numbers. Okay, so that is not rotation y. It's not rotation y. It is transform dot Euler angles dot y. Yo, Lisa, how's it going? Hope you're having a good Friday. How are you doing? I'm fantastic. How's a good week? Having a good Friday. It's good to see you. Doing good, glad to hear. Have you had a successful week? Been doing some good stuff? Been a busy week, but a good week. That's what we like to hear. A busy week can be a good week. Sometimes it's better to be busy. I think we're making progress. Yes. Yes. You're here just in time, Lisa, to witness a breakthrough. Still have an issue because these numbers should not be spinning right now. What's happening is this ball is spinning crazy on the spot. It should not be doing that. I'll remember this tune. Let's reset, reset. Stop spinning. Cool. Okay, we made a breakthrough. The ball is going in the direction of the camera now. What I need to do is stop it from spinning crazy when I hit reset. Look to the left. Can you please say happy birthday, Matt? Happy birthday to Matt. Are you Matt? Let's turn that down. Look to the left. I like that. Interesting name. Yeah. Well, happy birthday to you. Hope you're having a fantastic birthday. And thank you for coming to my stream to spend some time here. So that's not quite working. Hey Max, how's it going, dude? I'm Matt, thanks man, means a lot. No problem. Everybody should be able to have a happy birthday on their birthday. And I'm glad I can wish you a happy birthday. It's good to see you, Max Messi. Good, thanks buddy, glad to hear. Right, we have still got problems though. Calculations are working though. Calculations, the initial calculation on this code is working. We now just have to deal with bizarre physics engines now. So if I hit it, those things should not be working. They should not be spinning. I need to ask you a quick question. Are you going to I-72? I'm not sure yet. If I do, it'll only be for a day. Doing good. Glad to hear you're doing good. And you're back. Welcome back, of course. Let's put the music back up a little bit more. I forgot I had this. I got a hardcore track called Hentai. So, what we're going to do with this ball. So, suppose we check the physics, the rigid body. So, it's only freezing on the one. So, when it resets, it needs to reset to the camera. So that's one thing anyway. But so hitting that reset now, the Y is locked, but it's still spinning. So if the Y is locked, why is it spinning? It should not be doing that. So this might be something I need to learn about Unity itself. Because I thought if this little tick box down here is ticked, it shouldn't, this value up here should not be changing. But it very clearly is. So why is it doing that? If I untick that, then tick all these. So they stop spinning now. Do I need to like do these apply? The freeze rotation doesn't actually freeze the rotation, but it in fact stops rotation being applied. Maybe. So because a rotation is already been applied, it continues that rotation. It might be something very very particular like that. Got another gig lined up, buddy. It's Ailstorm can never say that. Korpiklani and oh, I don't know this one. Heidvolk. That's pretty awesome. I love Ailstorm, and I love that's a Dutch word. Okay, so copy cleaning clan from Finland. Ah, okay. Yes, I remember them being a Finnish band. Didn't realise the word itself was Dutch, but it makes sense. The double A in there. Heidvolk. Volk. Heidvolk. Volk. Heidvolk. Volk. It's a hard one. Too many vowels in there. Right. I've got a theory. I'm going to test in the code. So can we only set one constraint at the same time? Or constraints? Or do we add to constraints? Is that the mix? Is that the mix over? Did I do a short one that day? No. There's more of a mix. Oh, okay. So you got the Finnish band and the Dutch band. Speaking of Dutch music, oh nice. I shall have to check them out, Max. So how do I apply multiple freeze rotations in one go? Let's keep it happy down here. Let's so it's a Scottish pirate metal band, a Finnish folk metal band and a Dutch folk metal band. All of them walk into a pub. And the bartender says, right, good, delete. But it's going to be a fantastic gig, that one, Max. I'm pretty confident, that's why I'm deleting all this old code now. Because we know this bit's okay. It's this bit up here now, we need to... So we've got maximum drag. So I wonder if I should set the constraints after relay. If I set the constraints after moving it, because this is near enough instantaneous, so it's not going to roll away in the split second between moving the board. Maybe I should set the velocity first. So the drag and velocity, it stops the ball dead, moves the location, and then freezes its rotation so it can't go anywhere. Let's try that. So when's that gig then, Max? When are you going to that? So that's still spinning. So I hit reset. And it still goes to move. Okay, let's go back to the code. So I want to set all constraints. So rig dot constraints equals this is just freeze position. Does that lock everything? That might be what I need them. Just need to lock everything down. Ah, so that freezes or freeze the position. I want to freeze rotation. Let's go back to code. We're halfway there. Freeze position. Starting to become epic. Thank you. Glad to hear you think so. Rigid body constraints. Freeze rotation. We don't necessarily need to freeze position, but I'll hold that because that code might be useful. Okay. So if we can get it to stop spinning on the spot, I'll then have to replace the rotation reset. Okay, so reset. Yes, it stops moving on reset. Okay, right. Now, you may notice hitting reset will always put it to 180. So the ball is always lined up the ramp on reset. But if the camera is already facing this way, we want the ball to lock back to where the camera is without having to move it left to right. But that is not hard because the code is already there and we're already doing it. And we also want to get rid of that log. Rotate direction. So if I do that, cool. Put a video by Hyde Volk up on the general channel Discord. Ooh. I shall have a check of that out in a moment. Okay. This, if this works, means we can move on to the next stage. So if I now move this, fire it off, reset. Awesome. Okay, let's go back this way. Bowl, reset. Cool. We've succeeded on that section. Now that ramp is just there for fun. What I could do is have the ramp move with the ball, but that's not necessarily what we want to ultimately achieve. The ramp is going to disappear. The next fun bit is where the ramp is what's making it go up. We want to tilt the ball itself. Rather than the ball hitting a ramp, we want the ball to angle and fire off at an angle from where it's standing. So rather than the ball going forward and then going up the ramp, just to angle the ball and fire. Almost like a flick, I suppose. Which is effectively what we're doing with the ball. We're pushing the ball with code. It just so happens to hit a ramp. Let's skip this forward a little bit. Yeah, music was a little bit too bleepy to concentrate. Okay, so maybe we need a couple of extra buttons which are like up and down. I understand, yeah. Too bleepy to concentrate. Let's have a quick drink. I can turn that up a little bit. Okay. So we'll add a couple of UI buttons onto here now. So we can go up and down. There we go. Now I'll put a couple of buttons that are up and down. And that will then angle the ball. And we can do away with the ramp then. And that would mean then we can actually choose whether the ball's going to go high or lower. But the camera's going to have to angle as well. Or is it? I suppose the reticle there. The reticle needs to move up and down. The camera doesn't need to necessarily. Camera pivots, but the reticle is part of the camera. So I suppose the camera would lean back if you're looking higher up and then lean forward if you're looking more forward. So, and I think the camera's pointing at the reticle. I think that's actually in the code. So what we'll do, we'll move the reticle up and down. And we'll have to angle the ball accordingly. Yeah. So let's put something on the UI. Let's clear the console log. Where's our UI canvas? So we do want another button. So go UI button, go angle up, canvas UI button, angle down. So we have two buttons, angle up, angle down. Up. Let's just put up on it. And down. Right, so we don't need the text anymore, so it's just down to the actual content of the button. So we haven't got any on clicks at the moment, so we have to write the code first. Let's give that a quick save. So let's go to code. Let's condense this up a little bit. So I could condense this code a bit further by not having a float variable and just put direction.transform.eitherangles.y rather than just having a y here. But it allows us to check it out later. Don't know if you picked the best concentrating place, probably not. But I can concentrate to this track better than the bleep kicks. Generally. Well, it's got bleep kicks. But the other one was more bleepy. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, I do like this stuff, so I can concentrate to it. Yeah, there's no bleepy. Well, it's very rare bleepy kicks. Okay, so we've got a function there which is rotate action. Rotate direction. We want another function. Public void angle direction. Okay, new function angle direction. So whereas the rotate direction takes it from the camera, do we actually want to angle the camera first and then come back and angle the ball? So I could condense this as well. I'm sure we can get rid of that code there. Do some cleaning up now. I think it's another bleep kick song, probably. I think you probably requested a lot of bleep kick songs on that stream. We'll see how it goes. If it gets too much, I'll change playlists. Private read only speed mods. Speed mods. It's only okay so far, but the only thing with these kind of songs is that it can just suddenly drop into bleep kick. You think you're safe, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, boom, bleep kick. Right, we want a... This might be something from my collection. It sounds like something I would keep in my hardcore collection. I always like that kind of feminine vocal hardcore kind of stuff. They're very uplifting. Which is where the Hug Junkie name came from. It's kind of like happy, uplifting hardcore. Does that sound like a bleep kip coming in at some point? No, we're safe for now. Yeah, I'm very much into the uplifting hardcore. Public void, angle up, I suppose. Angle up, and make a counterpart public void angle, lost myself, angle down. This group I know that does bleep kicks also use those vocals as a sample. Ah. See, they're being crafty there. They're luring you in with a false sense of security, and then boom, bleep kick. But it's a good contrast. You have the happy, old school female vocal, then into the more kind of modern glitchy sound. Now this is definitely from my collection, this track. There's one thing that does work well with a lot of hardcore tunes is the rap vocal. Especially with a harder beat. You've got like a hard beat with the attitude of a rap vocal. So you've got the audio attitude for this kind of crazy beats, but then the attitude you hear naturally in a rapper's voice. Which is where drum and bass kind of works in. So drum and bass vocals typically tend to borrow from rap, but the heavier drums. But then hardcore can do the same. Right, so we're not rotating right now. We're effectively rotating, but not rotating around. We're kind of rotating, pivoting this way. But to do that, I think the easiest thing to do is to move the reticle, point the camera at the reticle, and then adjust the... Oh, this could be interesting, because as far as rotating on the y-axis, that's pretty simple. That's kind of like everything is pointing in the same direction. But moving the reticle up and down, that's going to be easy. That's physically moving the object up and down in 3D space. So that's changing the z-axis. No problem. Pointing the camera at it, not a problem. We're rotating the camera up to look at its new location, not a problem. The problem comes when we need to then angle the ball. Or could we just get the ball to look at the reticle? Could we do the same thing? Could we have the ball looking at the reticle? But then the angle, because the angles could be different. Because if we've got the reticle here, the camera's here, you move the reticle up, the camera turns up to look at the reticle. Move it down, looks at that. But the ball is here, it's closer to it. So making the ball look up at it, the angle that the ball fires versus the angle the camera's looking means the ball will overshoot. But it depends how close the reticle is to the castle. If the reticle is close enough to the castle, by the time the ball passes through the reticle, it's not travelled too far before it hits the castle. So it might not make much of a difference. If it does, we can do an offset of maybe so many points down the the Z axis to compensate for the distance of the ball from the camera. If that all makes sense. Mathematically, in my head, that makes sense. But we'll do that. In fact, we could probably have saved ourselves time with all this other stuff by just pointing at the reticle to start with, like for both angles. But we can give this a go. So angle up, angle down. So that's going to be moving the reticle. Where's the reticle? The reticle is the point in this case. So point. Should probably call it reticle, to be honest. But okay. We need the code to be on the reticle, not on the camera, because we're moving the reticle. It's not read-only, is it? We can write to it. Checking out model building workshops, by the way. Found some nice ones. Ooh. Is that building miniatures? I also found some nice German Africa corpse I was looking for. Only €12 for 14 models, sold out. Oh no. Does sound like a good deal though. Less than €1 per model. Especially if they're good detail on there. So point dot transform. No, we can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. No, we have to put the code on the we have to put the code actually on the reticle. So let's make a new code script. Call that what would you call it? Move reticle? Well, it's supposed to be just reticle, really, isn't it? Reticle. So let's drag the reticle code into there. Now we can open the reticle code. And we don't need to start all that, but we do need I suppose we need the angle up and angle down, don't we? Need both of these. Or move up, move down. Move up. Move down. So this is a game object dot transform position dot z equals, put 1 in there for now. Cannot modify value because it's not a variable. So we have to set it as a new vector 3. Okay. Vector 3. Pos equals a new vector 3 naught comma naught comma naught and go pos. So as a float, so you can put that straight in rather than having it and just drop that out completely. So we actually want it to be X, Y, Z, so we want X and then we want the Y to remain as they currently are. But we want the Z to be Z plus 10. And tell you what, public float movement, call it Z movement. So we can change it on the fly. So make that plus Z movement. Let's copy that code line there. But make it minus Z movement. The space is there. Okay, save that. Put 10 in there, so we can come back and change that later. So angle up. So the on click, want to make a new on click. Let's put the reticle into there. function, reticle, move up, and angle down. New function, drag the reticle into it. Function, reticle functions, move down. Cool, right. Let's give that a go. Stop the TV from sleeping. Let's give that a save in case it crashes. I think I've changed the wrong value, haven't I? It's not the Z. We do need to move where these buttons are as well. So where's the rotate left? So it's 570. So very least so it needs to be 76. 76. 76. So put all the buttons in the same row. Position though needs to be a bit higher. One bit further across. So 570. Would be 670. No, this one's 670 as well for the moment. It needs 160 on, so it makes that 770. Plus 60. 150. 850. You can do this visually, but I can't remember the quick way of doing it. So I might as well just do it by numbers. Makes it more accurate, I suppose. Let's save. So I don't think it's the Z axis I need to change, but it appears to be moving it further and further away. Yeah, so Z's bringing it closer and further away. That's not what we want them. It is not the Z axis. This is the Y axis, isn't it? Looking at Israeli tanks now, expensive though, but they are out there. Since Gaza isn't one of the most popular diorama wars. Yeah, I can imagine that. That's the Y axis. And it only appears to only really need to go by so many points of a degree. Okay. Let's modify the code. It's not Z movement, it is Y movement. So let's get rid of that there. Go plus Y movement. It's cool that they're out there though. But yeah, I can imagine it's not something that a lot of people are investing in. So rather than 10, let's make that 0.3. Let's go save and play that. Okay, so moves the reticle up and down. Cool. Okay. These buttons need to be a bit further out. So we round this up. Let's go 700. And make that 900. So now that's running. Camera rotate, so angling up. So to angle up, it's rotating around point. So what is point? Point isn't actually the camera pivot. Let's have a look. Oh, and the ball is the pivot, of course. Okay. So the camera's rotating around that. I suppose we don't need to look up and down for the camera, do we? So the camera we can stay as is, providing the entire castle can be seen by the camera. Not a problem there. But we do need to angle the ball, so we don't need code in the camera. So let's remove these. Well, actually, don't remove them, but we'll copy them. We'll take them out, shall we say. Let's go to the ball. Do this. So angle up, angle down. Let's drop those into there. Okay. So that allows us to put some variables in if we need to. Naming rule violation, these must be used at uppercase reticle. Oh, I didn't like the fact I called reticle here. Should be a capital R reticle. Don't care right now. Don't care. So angle direction. So because the camera rotate. So it's just to look at, isn't it? So transform. Transform dot look at. So target. So I need to put the. So we need to put the reticle as my target now. Transform target. Is target actually being used in this? Go back to here. Where? Ball. Where's my target currently? Target. Oh, target is already reticle. Awesome. Okay. Oops. Minimize the wrong thing. So target is what I want anyway. Has target actually even been used, or is it something I was using? Yeah. Look at target. Target transform. Okay. This would be interesting. I suppose I'd have to run this as a an on-click, but also as a reset function as well. So ball, bring the ball into here. Bowling ball, angled up. So angle down, bring the bowling ball up. Angle down, make a new on-click event, bring the ball into it. Bowling ball, angle down. Save. For argument's sake, I'm just gonna just raise this out of view for the moment. Right, it did something. We're looking at ball. Ah, there we go. Ah, of course. Right. Interestingly, no matter what, it's looking... Yeah, we hit the bar. Okay, so the up and down angle's not doing as expected, but I can move the reticle up and down. But all that happens is that the ball immediately just does a complete 90-degree angle up and just fires directly into the air, which I don't understand quite why. Does that only put the collider around the yeah, it seems to only put it around this initial part of the castle, which is fine. I will be using this as the castle anyway. It's the principle, really. Okay, so I might have to calculate angles. We're getting there though. We're getting there. Let's stop running the game. So as fun as that ramp is, we might as well get rid of it now. It's only there for testing, so delete. Gone. Eventually, as I say, I want to get this thing doing the throwing of the ball. But that's more of a visual. And that's going to be fun in itself, trying to incorporate the swing of this with the ball. Because I suppose you didn't make the models yourself, right? No. These are all assets I purchased at quite a considerable discount, but I purchased them. Now, eventually I would like to make my own models. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check the license attached to the models, if I use these models. But if I do put this game as a test kind of thing. But I'll check what the license is. It might say these are free license to use. But for my actual game, my main game I'm making, I'm going to try and make as many of the assets as possible. Which I can't see being too hard. Obviously, if I want this much detail, I'd have to kind of sculpt and craft and add shapes together. Which you can see is pretty much what these are anyway. You can see they're just individual shapes. Just lined up together. And overlapping, and you've got the final big shape. Yeah, before I publish anything, I'll check the licenses for any of the assets. So this is a weird one because it's only got one-sided one-sided wall. Like these are actually 3D objects. These bricks, they're 3D, but the wall itself is a flat plane. So I'm assuming it's designed that a player would never go behind there, which is weird. I could probably retexture it and stuff if I wanted to use it. And the weird thing is you can see shadows, look. You shouldn't be able to see the shadows. So it's a bit of a weird object anyway. Ah! I've worked it out. There's the reticle. The reticle's floating above the balls. No wonder the ball's going up. Okay. PC question, by the way. But since so many types of armies are hard to find as models, would you think it'd be difficult to take models out of PC games, let's say COD, and then make them into STL files? I know people have done it. I'm not sure COD specifically, but people have done it with Command and Conquer, for instance. They've taken, well, they've taken the 2D image out of Command and Conquer, put it into Blender, 3D, run a 3D thing on it, so it turns it from 2D to 3D, modified it slightly in Blender, and then made it into a file for printing. But if you can decompile the game and like get to the assets like the 3D models, once you have a 3D model, you can convert it into pretty much anything you want to. There's lots of converters out there that will take assets. Like, I could take something out of Unity and make it a printable file through a couple of converters. And say you can make anything in Blender, convert it to a Unity. That part I know is possible. Cool. But yeah, if you can pull the models out of COD, that'll be the first question. Can you pull 3D models out of COD? If you could do that, then the rest of it would work. Because pretty much all models, no matter what format they're in, they're still a 3D model. But models out of Unity games and out of Unreal games, so games made in the Unreal Engine and Unity engine, are far easier to pull out and use because they're standardized. I'm not sure what engine COD runs on. Let's have a quick look. Game engine Call of Duty. What game engines used to make Call of Duty? An example, yeah. Okay, so Call of Duty is made in the IW engine. I've never heard of that. What's the IW engine? Oh, Infinity Ward. So the Infinity Ward company or developer made the Infinity Ward engine. So it's their own engine. If you say Unreal isn't easy to get out as long as Unreal Engine game with a rack war, for example, exists, I'm saying, yeah. That's why you see so many mods like, if there's a game that has character mods, like Skyrim, for instance, if there's a game where people have modded characters into it, it's because they're swappable. If they're swappable, then you can usually pull models out. So if you think of a game, if there's a mod for it which allows you to swap the character, not just reskin it, not retexture it, but to actually swap the character model, there's a good likelihood you can pull the character models out of it. But if not, just Google. Pick a game, so character models for that game. Someone might have already pulled it out for you. You just need to download them. Or if not, then find the tools to do so. But like Skyrim is infinitely moddable, so you know you can get the characters out of Skyrim. I know Starfield, more recently, you can pull the models out of Starfield. Like Power World, the new Power World game is made in Unity engine, so you can pull the models out of that. People have been putting Pokemon models into Power World, and then Nintendo's been attacking and pulling down every single mod out there featuring Pokemon. But because it's an Unreal Engine game, it's standardized models. Like as you see here, these are all objects that could be used in any Unity game. All these down here could be put into any Unity game. I know Nintendo not being happy about Power World in general. Yeah, legally they can't do anything about the game, but they can legally do anything about people trying to put Pokemon into it, because Pokemon are protected. The game concept isn't. But I'm pretty sure Nintendo's probably got all their lawyers to look at every single potential, and they go, we haven't got a leg to stand on. But yeah, if you find a game made in Unity or Unreal, you're onto a winner. If not, see if you find a game that can be modded to add characters into it or change characters, then you can pull them out usually. But a lot of Lego games, as I mentioned with Lego Star Wars, because you can unpack the game, get all the sound files, all the character models, everything you can pull out into individual files with Lego games. Means that I can pull a Lego character out of a Lego game and then print it if I want to. Because the models exist. So that'd be something to look for. See what engine it's made in. And if someone's added characters into the game. Like, not just changed their face, but changed what they look like. Let me check Battlefield engines. Those are gold mines solder modules. Cool. Yeah, have a look at what engine it is. See if anyone's modded them. Like, changed the actual characters. And if so, there's a chance then you could pull models out of it. Right. It's just hit 11 PM here, and it's be 12 midnight for you. So I'm going to wrap the stream up, and I'm going to... Next Friday, I'm going to work out a better solution and calculation based on the reticles. Because the reticle's above the ball, I can't use that as my target. Something calls Frostbite for Battlefield. Frostbite, oh yeah, the Frostbite engine. So, because can you... Frostbite engine character models. You can convert Frostbite to Unreal. How to extract models from Battlefront 2. Implementing scripting solution with your editor. Is Frostbite better than Unreal Engine? So you can make your own games in Frostbite if you want to. Is Frostbite a good engine to use? Numerous reports of issues surrounding Frostbite titles. Alright, the FIFA games are made in Frostbite as well. So FIFA and Battlefield are made in the same game engine, would you believe? So yeah, it's a fairly popular game engine. Not so much for beginners, but there's a chance then. Yeah. Can you imagine? You stick some FIFA characters on the in a Battlefield game. Just gun them down. Yeah, I'm sure someone's probably tried. There goes the Chelsea lineup. Yeah, yeah. Chelsea versus a battalion. Equally, you could probably try and mod in Battlefield characters into FIFA and just have them as a an armoured side. Just rather than tackling, you just kind of do headshots. But that could be a fun project at some point. But yeah, have a look. Okay, so character, like pulling characters out of Battlefield or modifying characters in Frostbite engines. Possibility. It might not be as easy, but there's a chance. Yeah, switch the scene over. I'm going to save this file. Come out of Unity. Epic. Thank you for the stream. It was epic as always. Thank you, Lisa. Much appreciate having you here, and you as well, Jeffrey. And everyone else who's been lurking. Thank you, Max. And look left as well. Hope you're having a good birthday. Thanks for dropping by. Thank you for streaming. Thank you. The next stream will be Minecraft on Monday. There won't be a Wednesday stream next week, I don't think. There might be, might not be. It's Valentine's Day for those who celebrate next Wednesday, so likely. If there is a stream, I might be streaming with Nix. Learned some things. Cool. That's what I'm here for. I like to share knowledge and discover things. Thank you for the info, no problem. Yeah, I've been into trying to do game dev for a long time. Like 15 years I've been interested in game dev. Well, longer than that actually. Since I could use a computer and play games, I've been interested in game dev. But it's getting easier. It's getting easier to do it. But yeah, I'm going to have some rest now. Hope you folks do too. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll be back on Monday for Minecraft. So hope to see you then. Hope you have a good night. Yeah, have a good weekend. Good night.